When my phone buzzed that evening, I didn't expect my marriage to crack open with one message. At my ex's place. His dad isn't home. Don't be jealous. That was the text from my wife, Rachel. No explanation. No emoji. Just those words sitting on the screen like a dare. I remember staring at it, trying to convince myself it was a joke. Rachel had a way of teasing me. Harmless sarcasm, she'd say. But this? There was no smiley face, no context, nothing that made sense. We'd been married for 6 years. Stable, or at least I thought so. The last few months had been tense, filled with short answers, late nights, and the kind of distance you can't measure in miles. I told myself she was just stressed from work. But deep down, I'd started to feel like a guest in my own home. I typed and deleted a dozen responses before settling on one word. Why? She didn't reply. Minutes dragged into hours. I sat on the couch, phone in hand, replaying every fight, every cold dinner, every night she turned away in bed. The silence between us had become its own language. By midnight, my confusion had hardened into clarity. I wasn't going to beg or chase. Whatever game she was playing, I was done being the quiet, understanding husband. The next morning, she came home like nothing happened. Coffee in one hand, phone in the other. Her hair was messy, her perfume faint but unfamiliar. "Morning," she said, avoiding eye contact. "Where were you?" I asked calmly. She sighed, rolling her eyes. "Oh, come on, Ben. Don't start. It was just a joke. My ex invited me to a get-together. His dad wasn't home, but his sister was. You really think I'd do something like that?" She said it casually, as if I were the problem for reacting. That's how Rachel always won arguments, by acting like nothing mattered. I looked at her and smiled. "You're right," I said softly. "It was just a joke." That afternoon, while she was in the shower, I sat down at my desk and opened our shared bank account. Half the balance went into a new account under my name. Then I removed her from the joint credit cards. No anger, no yelling, just quiet decisions. I went to work like usual, answered emails, smiled at coworkers, even had lunch with my manager. But inside, I was already gone. Something had shifted. That evening, Rachel called me on my way home. Her voice was light, playful. "Pick up some wine, babe. Let's not fight tonight. Okay?" "Sure," I said. "Red or white?" "Red," she replied, her tone softening. "And I'm sorry if I made you mad. You know I love you." I didn't answer right away. My fingers tightened around the steering wheel. "Yeah," I said eventually. "I know." When I got home, dinner was on the table, pasta, her peace offering. She smiled, tried to act normal. I played along. We ate, we talked about random things, like the weather and her upcoming project. For a moment, it almost felt like old times. But when she reached for my hand across the table, I didn't move. She noticed. Her smile faltered. "You're still mad." "I'm not mad," I said. "I just realized something." "What?" "That I stopped being someone you respected a long time ago." Her fork clattered against the plate. "Oh, come on, Ben." But I didn't let her finish. "You send a message like that and then call it a joke. Do you even hear yourself?" She leaned back, crossing her arms. "You're overreacting." I nodded. "Maybe. But you'll see what overreacting really looks like soon enough." Her expression changed. Confusion mixed with a flicker of fear. That was the first time she realized something was different. I wasn't angry. I was done. That night, Rachel fell asleep before me, her back turned, just like so many nights before. I lay there watching the shadows crawl across the ceiling, my mind quiet in a way it hadn't been for months. I wasn't plotting revenge or imagining confrontations. I was simply detaching, piece by piece. The next morning, I woke up early, made coffee, and left before she stirred. I stopped by the bank, finalized the transfer, and called a realtor friend. By noon, I'd found a small apartment on the east side, nothing fancy, but peaceful, a space where silence wouldn't feel like punishment. When I came home that evening, Rachel was in the living room, pacing with her phone pressed to her ear. She hung up the moment she saw me. "Ben, what's going on?" she asked sharply. My card got declined. Twice. I shrugged. That's strange. Did you cancel something? I adjusted a few things, I said. We needed some boundaries. Her eyes widened. Boundaries? You froze our accounts. Our accounts, I repeated. Rachel, everything was joint because I trusted you. You broke that trust the moment you decided to joke about being at your ex's house. She laughed, but it was shaky, uncertain. You're seriously doing this over a text? I'm doing this because I finally realized what you think of me, I said quietly. You thought I'd always sit here, waiting for you to decide when to take me seriously. For a moment, she had no words. Then came the anger. You're being manipulative. You're trying to control me. I smiled faintly. No, Rachel. For the first time, I'm not trying to control anything. I'm letting go. That night, I packed a few essentials, clothes, documents, my old guitar. She followed me around the apartment, her voice bouncing between anger and panic. You're really leaving? Over a joke. Over a pattern, I said, closing my bag. Over years of being the punchline. She stood in the doorway, tears pooling in her eyes. I didn't mean it like that. I wanted to get a reaction out of you. You've been so distant lately. I paused, looking at her. You wanted a reaction? You got one. She reached out, but I stepped back. There was no satisfaction in it, just finality. I walked past her, down the hall and out the door. The cool night air hit my face like a reset button. The next few days were quiet. Too quiet. No arguments, no noise, just the hum of my new fridge and the city outside my window. For the first time in years, I could hear myself think. Then, one evening, she showed up at my apartment. I opened the door, and there she was. Makeup smudged, eyes red. Ben, please, she whispered. Can we talk? I stepped aside. She walked in, looking around the small living room like it was foreign territory. You really moved out, she said softly. I told you I would. She turned toward me, tears slipping down her cheeks. I didn't sleep for 2 nights. I keep thinking about that text. It was stupid. I don't even know why I sent it. I thought I was being funny. Rachel, I said, my voice steady. You weren't being funny. You were testing how far you could push before I'd finally break. You found out. She sank onto the couch, covering her face with her hands. I didn't think you'd actually leave. I know, I said. You thought I'd always forgive, always wait, always stay. She looked up at me, eyes glistening. So that's it? You're just done. I nodded slowly. I was done the moment you told me not to be jealous. That was the last time you got to decide what hurts me. She broke down then, sobbing into her hands. I didn't move to comfort her. There was no satisfaction in watching her cry, only closure. When she finally left, she paused at the door. I never thought you'd stop loving me, she said quietly. I met her gaze. I didn't stop loving you, I said. I just stopped loving the version of me that you needed me to be. The door closed softly behind her, and for the first time in a long while, the silence felt like peace, not punishment.